Yeah, welcome everybody, and I hope my voice is clear enough today.
I can hear you. So
Okay, nice. Let's see what is on the agenda today. We have two topics: pause and resume surveys and surveys in waves. Well, the first subject is kind of short because I will only talk about the items that are in general for online surveys and not go into detail for the scripters. The scripting is a complete different part and has been summarized by Frank in a previous academy. Surveys in waves is a relative new possibility in Nfield, so we will pay some more attention to this. But let's start with the pause and resume of surveys. All surveys can be started and at some time be suspended. Suspended means also just closing the browser. We cannot prevent for respondents to continue till the end. The respondents with a respondent key, they can always come back later and then resume their interviews. This is not the case for respondent without a respondent key because we don't have a link with the previous given answers. Suspending of the respondent can be done by the non-activity, like I said, closing the browser. That will happen automatically after 15 minutes. And then you will see these in your sample with the code 101, which is specifically for this type of suspension. And if they have a respondent key, they can resume this later. But you will see them at the moment with the status dropped out, because we never know whether these will continue in the future. The respondent can also be presented with a pause button. This is a setting in your survey. If you present this pause button, they can actually actively suspend the survey for that moment and come back later to complete it. It's also possible to do this from the Odin script. And therefore, we can use the star ntst command. And there we have two possibilities. And we can either use the response code 29, which has the same action as using the pause button. But we can also use code 107, which is specifically made for the purpose. And this one has a special extra, which I will talk about a bit later. The current interview at the moment of suspension will be saved in a binary format, and this can then at resumption be used again. And when the respondent comes back, the suspend image will be played, against the current questionnaire with what we call an as-was scenario. And that until the point of suspension where it can show the question back to the respondent. It is important to note that this is indeed as-was scenario because it will actually use the whole situation as it was at the time of suspension. And so date and times will not be updated. And also the stratification command will not return the latest information. That can have consequences. So therefore we introduced the init block, which is a scripting construct in the questionnaire, and that will be executed after the suspend image has been played. So what happens is the respondent comes back, the suspend image will be played until the point where it dropped off, and then the content of the init block will be executed. So in the init block, you can put commands that take care of anything that is date related, for instance. And the special one, the code 107, that will actually also look at any sample data parameters in the URL. And when you do not use the 107, but the 29 or a normal suspension by timeout, then it will use any information that was available in the as-was scenario. So still has the old content, but when you use a 107, these parameters will be updated and you can act accordingly. And this makes it, for instance, possible to go to an other questionnaire and then on another platform or in Nfield itself, and then pass a parameter that this other questionnaire has been completed. Sorry. Let's have a look how this will look in practice. I have created already a survey for this purpose. I called it suspend. I'll show you how it's set up. Just have the questionnaire here. So in this case, the respondent gets in. First time the init block will also be played because it will be played right at the beginning. Because that's the point where it starts this session. Then it asks me a question, in this case, whether I want to pause or not. Normally that will be later in the questionnaire, of course. And then I can exit the questionnaire with the response code 29 to suspend the interview. Then, when it comes back, it will go into the questionnaire again and then ends at question 101 to ask this one again. That's the point where then actually this parsed init will be executed in the init file. So I can actually put a condition here that I do not ask this question again after I have asked it previous time by just putting here star if, and then not. Oh, yeah, because at the moment it will be played, then it will have the value 0, because the init will only be initialized at the point where it has completed playing it. So if I put here the condition it's not parsed, then it will be true for that condition and it will skip it. And I will also, if I also put it here, because otherwise it will still have the old value. And suspend it again. And then it will skip it and just continue. Save this and show you how it looks like. Publish the live link. Copy the live link. Then I add a responded key to it. Well, let's use some I can recognize. Okay, next. I should, of course, put this right the other way around. My excuses, my excuses. Now I should have paid more attention. That's also why you should always test your questionnaires. So indeed, now if I say, yes, I want to pause it, next, I pause the interview. Then sometime later, I want to come back and use the same. I kept the rest of the questions without having to answer that first one again. And if I look at my sample, they all have response code 18 now. I should have shown you before, but you can always see at the response code what the current status is. And if I do another one, pause it, refresh. And then you see that it is actually 29 with the dropped out. Um, Actually, I introduced this again also because quite often we do not see questionnaires with an init block in it, although it might be a good idea to have an init block always when you have a possibility to suspend it and you have some action in there that depends on the current state rather than on the state as it was when the interview was started the previous time. Okay, so far for the first topic. Let's have a look at trackers, because that's actually what we call the surface in waves. And that's what commonly known also as a tracker, where the same questionnaire is posed in multiple waves, sometimes with exactly the same questionnaire, sometimes with slightly different questionnaire. And a lot of questionnaires, what we still see is that they actually just maybe create a blueprint for the survey and then create a new survey over and over again. But you can actually create a tracker where everything is in one place and we have additional features that makes life at least a lot easier. If you have a tracker, it shares some features across the waves, and you have to configure these only once. And those are the survey settings, the media files, and the translations. The waves, when you create the new wave, you will actually copy the questionnaire and or the quota frame from the previous wave, and that's also a handy feature. So you have less things to worry about. And we also have the sampling handling completely integrated over the waves. I will show you this. We can automatic start and stop waves, which is also a nice feature, so that nobody needs to be there to actually perform the action. You cannot forget about this. So all in all, that makes it also less error prone. Should say it is currently only available for online surveys. Maybe in the future it will also be a copy feature. But let's have a look at the online first. If I go back to my surveys here, we have the list of the normal surveys here, but for trackers, we have a separate entry. If you create a tracker, it's exactly the same as a normal one, only you have a lot less to fill out. Here in this case, we create a new tracker with a name, and if you have multiple survey groups, you can assign this to a survey group as well. but I already created a tracker here. You're inside the tracker. You have an overview of your waves. I already created 2 waves here. You have your sample and you have your monitor fieldwork. And then everything that is to do with the wave itself is accessible here under the waves. The media files and the buttons message translations are fixed for the old tracker, but of course you can add or exchange media files here if you need to. Those are, but you do not need to upload everything for every survey again. Fieldwork settings are the same as well for all the trackers. They have them in common. For the tracker, we have one additional setting, and those are the tracker settings, of course. And here we have the possibility to either use time-separated waves or overlapping waves. With time-separated waves, the waves will be mutually exclusive. So if one wave starts, the other wave stops. In that case, the waves are never running at the same time. But with this might not always be what you want, because you might still need a few respondents in your previous wave, and then you can already start with your next wave, while the other wave still continues for those few you still need. And you can auto start a wave based also on the number of successfuls. Well, it's actually the minimum number of successfuls, because you want to have at least so many in the wave before you start the next scheduled wave. This minimum is configurable in the wave itself. Sorry. When I go to the wave itself, every wave has its questionnaire, its own quota, and its own question settings regarding the duration for your quality control. And we have the possibility here to set the start and end dates of the survey. And here you can configure the start date, the end date, and if it is an overlapping survey like this, then indeed these start dates and end dates can overlap the ones from another. And if I specify a minimum number of successful, I can also take this into account. All these settings for general are the same as they are for normal surveys. If I create a new wave, and I give it the name, let's use just the date. We can start blank, and then we have to upload a new questionnaire and create a new quota frame. But I can also say from wave, and then I can say which wave I like to use for that one. And then it has created for me the quota frame. It inserted the questionnaire, and I can edit the questionnaire here because I also have a variable here for my wave number. So this will be wave 3 in this case. Okay, save it. And so then questionnaire is ready for this wave. Then, of course, I need to publish it. And configure here when I like to start this survey. Well, it already marks today as the date, so I can choose that. Now let's say the end is next week, and save it. Actually, because I set the date, the time here, 12 a.m. But would be midnight, but I can also specify another time during the day if I like to. Then let's look here at how these respondents will get there. If I go here to the tracker level and I copy the live link here, and let's grab an editor. Oh, that one is probably too small. Let's use the other developer. Then the live link for the survey looks exactly the same as a normal live link. And what actually happens if you use this live link, it will send you to the last survey that was opened. I started. So in this case, that will be the April 8th. Because I said it has to start today, so it started it for me. And the respondents, when they have this generic link, will get into wave April 8th. If I need to send them to a certain wave, I can copy the live link from here and show you again how that one looks like. You see that it has now received an Nfield wave ID. And this wave ID is unique for every wave of this survey. So if I want them to go to a specific wave, then I have to add the wave ID. So you have that depends a bit on how you organize your respondents, of course, and how you get your respondents. Whether you can send them the generic link for the tracker, or you will have to send them the link for the particular wave of that tracker. But both are possible. If you want to use sample, all the sample is handled starting at the tracker level. When you don't have any respondent data yet, we can add those. Just we'll create a simple one. Well, it's easier if I just do it here. Just the respondent key. Maybe you don't know, maybe you don't, but the doesn't really matter how you call the first column of your sample. The system where you upload sample will always actually use the first column as the respondent key. So let's create normally you would create ones that are not so easy to guess, but in this case. Okay, we'll save this. We'll go to my Academies folder and then save this as sample.csv. And in here I can upload you can see that they are all uploaded. But you see as well that we have a special field here for wave ID. And if we want the respondents to be for a particular wave, you also have to include that wave ID. And wave ID is actually the same as we have here. And so if I would have uploaded this in a column in my CSV, it would have been for this particular wave 3. But if your sample is not intended for a specific wave but can be used for multiple waves, then you can leave that apart, leave that out. So if I now take my live ID, copy, go back to my browser, then start with H3001. It starts. Unfortunately, I did not bring any information in here which shows which wave it is. Would have done that, of course, but I can also go to monitor fieldwork. I don't see anything. Oh, there's no such thing here that I can see it, but in the sample, I can see indeed that this respondent 001 is now response code 106. That means that the interview is busy. And you can see also on which wave this respondent is busy. Waves. If I go to my wave, you can see now that this respondent is now part of this wave. And the other two respondents are not part of a wave yet, so they are not visible in this wave. And here, this is you can, and you will see this all around the tracker, and you can easily go to another one by just clicking on this and then go either to the tracker or to go to another wave. This one I did not do any interviews, but you can see that it works. I hope this is more or less clear. Are there any questions?
No, we have not received any questions yet. If you have one, please use the chat to post your question. But I don't think there's anyone coming in.
Nope.
No, so let's continue with the next slides.
Yeah, well, for those who want to view this, there will be a recording later. All is in the manuals. I seen that also The online course has all the information on the surfacing waves and information about the suspending and resuming interviews can be found in the Nfield reference. And then we have a next academy planned as well. That will be next week. So I hope you enjoyed this and hope to see you also.
Thank you. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.